Hello, my friend. After watching this video, your view of AirTag might change forever. Today, we'll hear 3 real horror stories, each one involving an AirTag. If you experience something similar, feel free to contact me through the email in the description. Now, if you're ready, hit that subscribe button, and let's meet our first character.
That day I left work late. It was almost 10 p.m. Everyone had already gone home, but I stayed to finish one last presentation. I was tired but calm. I said goodbye to the security guard and walked to the metro. The air was cold. The streets were quiet. Normally I don't mind walking at night, but something felt different. After I got off the metro and started walking home, I felt strange, like someone was watching me. I turned around. No one was there. Maybe I was just tired. I walked faster. When I reached my building, I felt a little better. I unlocked the door, stepped inside, and locked it again. Just as I was taking off my coat, my phone buzzed. The screen said, "An AirTag is moving with you." Froze. An AirTag. I didn't own one. I tapped the notification. Showed a map. The device had followed me all the way from the metro. My heart started racing. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe someone nearby had one. But I was alone. And the AirTag was still with me. I grabbed my bag and dumped everything out. Checked my wallet, my pencil case, my coat pockets. Nothing. But the feeling wouldn't go away. I reached into the lining of my bag. My fingers touched something small and round. I tore the fabric slightly and looked inside. There it was. A silver, glowing AirTag. My hands were shaking. Who put this in my bag? When? Called the police. My voice was trembling. I found a tracking device, I said. It followed me home. They told me to stay calm and said they'd send a team. 15 minutes later, 2 officers knocked on my door. They examined the AirTag and took its serial number. "Do you know anyone who might have shared this with you?" they asked. I thought for a moment. Then I remembered someone. A man from my building. We'd shared the elevator a few times. He stared at me too long, but we never spoke. The police checked the building's security cameras. An hour later they came back. The footage showed him walking up behind me that morning. He reached toward my bag, then walked away quickly. The AirTag was registered to him. They arrested him. At his apartment they found more AirTags. Photos of other women. He had been following me for weeks, writing down where I went, what time I took the metro. When I got home, he placed the AirTag in my bag without me noticing, quietly. That night, I'll never forget it. In a quiet neighborhood, in a normal building, I learned how dangerous technology can be. One notification might have saved my life. If my phone hadn't warned me, I might not have noticed for days. Maybe something worse would have happened.
Sometimes, small details can mean everything. In the story you're about to hear, an AirTag will save someone's life. I'll call her Lily.
My sister Lily left home that morning to go to work. She usually calls me around 1 p.m. during her lunch break. Just a quick chat. But that day, she didn't call. I texted her. No reply. I called. Her phone was off. At first I thought, she's busy. She'll call later. But by 3 p.m., I felt something was wrong. Lily is always on time. She cares about her job. She cares about her family. Disappearing like this? That's not her. Then I remembered something she told me last week. "Bro," she said, "there's a guy at work. He acts weird. Keeps watching me." I didn't think much of it back then. Maybe she misunderstood. But now, that silence was eating me alive. Suddenly, I remembered. I had given her an AirTag last week. "Put it in your bag," I said. "Just in case." She laughed and said okay. I opened the Find app. My heart was pounding. The location showed a spot outside town, about 20 minutes from the city center, near the woods. It looked like a warehouse. What would Lily be doing there? I jumped in the car. My hands gripped the wheel. My eyes stayed on the screen. The AirTag wasn't moving. It was stuck in one place. When I got there, the sun was going down. The building was old. Cracked walls. Broken windows. The door was closed, but not locked. I couldn't hear anything inside. I reached for the door, but I couldn't go in. I called the police. "Hello, my sister is missing," I said. "Her AirTag is inside this building. Please send help." My voice was shaking. They took the address and said a team was on the way. 15 minutes later, 2 police cars arrived. They surrounded the building, listened for sounds. Then they went in. I waited outside. My heart was in my throat. A few minutes later, an officer came out. "Your sister is inside," he said. "She's safe, but very scared." I ran in. Lily was tied up. Her eyes were full of tears. When she saw me, she cried even harder. Next to her, a man was on the ground, handcuffed. "He's from her workplace," the officer said. "Obsessed. He grabbed her this morning, forced her into his car, brought her here." Lily had noticed him following her for days. That morning, he stopped her. "We need to talk," he said. She said no. So he forced her into the car, took her phone, turned it off, brought her to this place, tied her up. No one knew where she was. But he didn't see the AirTag, that little device. It saved her life. Without it, Lily might have been missing for days. Or worse. After that day, Lily struggled. She needed help. And me? I thank God every day. I saw how powerful technology can be when used the right way.
In this next story, a woman's trust in her husband is impressive. Ha 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 ha. Well, this time it actually helped. But listen, no matter what, never let someone into your life if they don't make you feel safe.
My husband had changed lately. He stopped looking me in the eye. His phone was always on silent. At night he'd say, "I have a meeting," and come home very late. At first I thought it was just work. But something inside me started to stir. That familiar feeling. Doubt. Distrust. And worst of all, uncertainty. One night he was getting ready again. "Dinner with a client," he said. While he was distracted, I quietly opened the drawer and took out the AirTag I bought last month. I attached it to his car key. It was small, almost invisible. I felt guilty, but the need to know was stronger. I had to find out, no matter what. That night by 10 p.m. he still wasn't home. His phone was off again. I opened the Find app. His location showed a villa, outside the city. A remote place, surrounded by trees. What was he doing there? A client visit? At this hour? I got in the car. My hands gripped the wheel. My heart was racing. What if I was right? What if someone else was there? Or worse, maybe I was overthinking. Maybe I was just hurting myself. I arrived at 11:15 p.m. There were 2 cars in the driveway. One was his. The other, a black car I didn't recognize. The lights were on. The front door was slightly open. I got out and walked quietly. I heard voices. Angry male voices. One shouted, "You ruined everything." Then glass shattered. I couldn't go in. I called the police. "I'm at a villa outside the city," I said. "I hear fighting. My husband might be inside. Please send help." I shared the location. 10 minutes later they arrived. 4 officers. I explained everything. They surrounded the house, then went inside. I waited. Every second felt like an hour. Finally, one officer came out. "2 men were fighting," he said. "Your husband was there too." Luckily, no one was seriously hurt. I went in. He was sitting on the couch. His eyes were full of tears. When he saw me, he looked down. The 2 men were being taken away. One officer explained, It was a debt issue. Your husband had co-signed for one of them. The other man didn't get paid. He started making threats. Tonight, they came to settle things. I was shocked. He never told me any of this. Why didn't you say something? I asked. I wanted to protect you, he said. But things got out of control. That night, the AirTag didn't expose a betrayal. It prevented a disaster. Without it, my husband might not have made it out. And I would have still been at home waiting for him to come back.
Don't forget to use AirTags for the people you care about. Alright friends, we've witnessed some intense stories today. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Bye!